Okay, today our relationships with others, with ourself, perhaps even with our money, are ready to shift in ways that are deeper, more meaningful, definitely more empowering. Okay, this is a moment of transformation. I know I have been saying that since the beginning of the year, probably a couple of months prior to the new year. And I will continue to say it because we are in another moment of transformation. We have the power right now to change certain aspects of our relationships, our sense of self worth, our approach to money. And it will feel very natural if we find a way to embrace this energy, if we understand how to recognize it and to utilize it. Okay? It will happen with almost like a natural flow to it. This isn't an energy where we fight for things, but things happen very naturally. And it sets new boundaries. We see ourselves in a new, profound way, our value. The transformation available to you is very real right now, and it is a time to embrace it. So it's here to support us, our journey towards lasting change. And I want to dive right into it. So, right now, let's just take a breath, pull up a chair, and join me. Join me as we embark on a journey of self-discovery. And we will gain an understanding of how to embrace this energy. By the end of our time together, it's my hope, it's my intention that you walk away with the tools, the insight to go forward with a sense of confidence, with a sense of clarity, with love. So hi, I'm Tilly. This is Tarot with Tilly. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all of the positive, loving support you send me every day, each and every day. You guys absolutely rock. I send that right back to you. Welcome to your daily focus, May the 6th, 2025. So today we have the energy of the 6. It's about our behaviors. It's about our habits. It's about our routines. And reflecting and looking at where we need to tweak, where we need to realign, where we need to see the value of one, but to see the hindrance of the other that maybe keeps us tethered to a different mindset or a different environment or whatever it might be. But it's definitely not helping us. Maybe it helped us at one time, but it no longer serves a purpose, has a value, moves us towards where we want to walk, who we want to become. So look at, take a different way to work, or try a different store, or research something new, dive into something different. Look for new experiences. Look for ways that you want to change within you and around you. If we look at the daily numerology, it would be a 5 plus a 6 plus a 9 gives us a 20. And the 20 is about turning points. It's about the fork in the road. It's about deciding to go in a new path. So we may be staying in the same relationship, or we could veer out and start to put in some healthy boundaries in that relationship, or re-spark some magic in it in new ways, doing new things together, revitalizing the relationship, or maybe walking away from the relationship, or the environment, or a passion or a dream. All things, are change. And by deciding not to do anything is accepting a new fork in the road. So whether or not you want the change in, it's going to happen because things always change and evolve in our life. That's what life is. So it's about taking control of what we are changing, what we are trying to manifest, what we are trying to make tangible and real in our lives. By simple everyday decisions about our health, our well-being, our environments, our relationships, and how we love ourselves, treat ourselves. 2 plus 0 is a 2, and that is about magic being all around us. So expect a little sprinkle of magic today. especially when you are being led by the heart, by that intuition, by that gut feeling, by believing in yourself in some way, doing something because you want that in your life. But more so to sit in quiet contemplation and look within and see the magic that is already within you, already a part of you. It's who you are. It's your talents, it's your abilities, it's your beauty, it's your charisma, it's your organizational skills, it's the way you make people laugh, it's the whatever it may be for you. I could go on and on. Helping organizations, helping people, creating things for people, whatever it might be, your contribution to life. I'm getting carried away here. Let's go to the astrology. Sun in Taurus. I don't edit, so I figure the rambling must be for somebody out there, so I allow the rambling the minute I hit record. Sun is in Taurus, Moon is in Virgo. And Venus and Pluto form a sextile. Okay, so Venus is about love, it's money, beauty, harmony, and Pluto is about transformation, death and rebirth, power, intensity, and it drives deeper into the subconscious. So it unearths, it goes within and finds those hidden desires, dreams, fears, truths, and brings it out to the open. So the energy between these two planets open up this powerful, transformative pathway for opportunities to come into our life, to strengthen our step forward, to be more in alignment with who we authentically are, the truth, to walk without any kind of fear of retribution or hate or dislike, or you don't fit the mold for some reason. There isn't supposed to be a mold. We're all supposed to be different. We're all supposed to be unique. Understand the beauty within you. Once again, right? Going back to the numerology and how it relates to the astrology right now is understanding your own beauty first, okay? And Pluto will dig up things that we have buried alive. We have forgotten. So, Venus brings in that harmony. Pluto brings in that depth. And it creates this fertile ground. We can heal. We can transform our love, our relationships, our personal growth. Sextiles are very harmonious. Okay, that means the planets, when they're talking, they're working together, okay, to ask us to join into the dance, offering us a chance to experience love on a deeper level, to confront a hidden desire, to embrace some kind of personal transformation. Okay, and the energy feels natural. It feels like it's supporting us, and for good reason, because it's about stepping into our authenticity, to shed an old pattern. So back to the sixth energy, a behavior, a person, an environment that no longer serves us. It gives us an opportunity to open ourselves up to something more profound. It encourages us to take bold steps and to recognize our own self-worth, and to invite that transformation in, that empowerment in, because it's there for the offering right now. Okay, we might feel a desire for a deeper connection, whether it's in partnerships, friendships, family dynamics, with ourselves. And there's this need for authenticity. There's this need for trust. These things are amplified. So it's time to recognize, to release a superficial layer. to peel back a layer to get to our authentic self, and to move towards relationships that are more meaningful or environments that are more meaningful. Definitely, it's about emotional growth and looking at the inner self and uncovering those hidden treasures, those desires, those dreams that were buried, that are maybe overlooked, or, life just happened and it kind of just got pushed out of the way. We may see our relationships in a new light. Okay, and we want to introduce changes that are going to be more fulfilling for true happiness, for that feeling of safety and security and being seen and being heard. So all of this energy that we have been walking through this entire year is, I'd have to say the question so far that keeps coming up over and over, regardless of the transit, is what matters most to you? Okay, ask yourself that question, especially when it comes to self-love, your relationship with others. I mean, this is a time when we can address and release any kind of power struggles or maybe an emotional block. We're being offered this powerful opportunity to heal an emotional wound, perhaps. And it may have been preventing us from really being able to walk our path, or walk our path with health. For those of you who follow me, right, we had that cruise, and then I got really sick. Like, there should have been an ambulance called, because it took me really a month. And I missed very few videos when I think it really took me down for a month, because at one point there, unbeknownst to you, I was preparing all day to get up to do the video for you, that I would have enough energy, and then I would go back to bed again. And that was my big outing for the day, was showing up for you guys. So in a big way, you helped, because you were there to motivate me to at least join the living, at least at some point each day. And I would try and meditate, but I had that cough, and it wasn't good. Okay. And so, now I'm getting the feedback from the kids, like, I'm finally feeling good. This week is probably the first week that I've really felt like I'm back on my game again. So it was a month, like over a month, right? And in my personalized astrological roadmap, it told me that I was going to get sick when I got sick. And then you read it through, and yeah, it fit very true to form. So I got to test out what I'm giving you guys, and wow, I should have paid more attention to that, right? Built up on the antibodies or whatnot, whatever. Anyway, that's not part of the story. But I realized that when the kids, when I first asked my husband very nicely to leave and never come back, and he obliged really well for that. And he left me with 3 kids, 7 and under, 2 with autism, the 2 youngest with autism. So, and I went through this one part, it was the very beginning of the year, and so I went into the emergency room the first week of January. It was like January 2nd, I had like stomach issues happening, like my stomach didn't feel well. And every week I would go back, and every week they would pat me on the head and send me away with, all kinds of junk that didn't work. And so it took me till the middle of March, so I've been going 10 weeks with this. And I couldn't get up out of bed. Luckily, my ex was supposed to take the kids that morning, and because in those days he didn't even have cell phones, so the phone was too far away. I couldn't get out of bed. The kids were fast asleep, and it was a school day, so they weren't getting up anytime soon. And from a long series of events, what had happened was I had a hernia, and my bowel slipped into the hernia. It suffocated my bowel. So half of my bowel was dead. But it was also putting a strain on the appendix, which made a pinhole leak in my appendix. So there was actually poison leaking into my body for 10 weeks. And And I've had similar experiences around that time as well, where, I've had last rites like, 3 or 4 times now. And I've died about 7 times so far, so you can't just. But it wasn't until I said that story that I realized, just before I started taping here, actually, so in this energy, I realized that is why I probably didn't go to the doctors, because I went for 10 weeks straight and they patted me on the head. And some of the things that they told me to do that I threw in the wastebasket, and I told the nurse after, she says, you would have been dead before you hit the floor if you would have followed this, or this. And nowhere, I said, didn't they ever examine you? Because I guess it was obvious, but it wasn't obvious to me, but it was obvious to them that there was something major wrong there. And I said, nobody ever examined me. Nobody ever asked me to show me where it hurt, drop my drawers. So anyways, I got off on a thing, but these are the things that I buried that, and I healed. I healed instantly, because now I know why I just don't go to the doctors when I should be, because I think I really need to be on death's door before they might take me seriously. It was still, there was a whole scenario there within that I'm leaving out that, was just bonkers. Anyways. Okay, so yeah, this energy will definitely help us to uncover the truths that we may have hidden from ourselves. Long story short, guys, I'm so sorry for you newbies. You're like, what? Who is this Kelly? I get babbling. I'm sorry. But, so this is an invitation to look at our relationship with who we are, our self-worth, our beauty, our value, why we do the things we do, and what things do we want to do going forward. Or are there some kind of limiting beliefs, or are we self-sabotaging ourselves somehow? Is there a pattern that needs to be addressed? Do a little bit of self-reflection and personal empowerment. My awakening was having a conversation with my daughter, and I also gave her a revelation that she was going through something very emotional. When we talked about it, she went, I never really looked at it like that. And so now, we'll go on to address that, but, and she'll be a much happier person for it. So, but to let go of a deep hurt that she was experiencing and understanding why that was there. Anyways, how about money? Let's talk about money. Our relationship with money. Okay. This energy supports shifts in our financial life and how we change it. Okay, especially around how we attract wealth and how we manage our money, our resources. Do we take care of the things we own? Do we have too much clutter? Can we give it away? Can we sell it? Is there something we can make, create, do different? Look at how your values align with your financial decisions. Okay, this is a time to make some very empowering, transformative changes in your approach to money to be, even if it's $10 extra in your pocket at the end of the week, that's $10 you didn't have before. So you're moving in the right direction. That's all you need to really base it on, is you're better than you were yesterday. So, figure it out. You've got it. You've got it within. Ask yourself, what kind of patterns do you need to release? Or where do you feel ready for that transformation to happen? Or how are you going to actually step into your power, the possibilities, your capabilities? How do you view your self-worth? What would it take to embrace your true self without any fear of judgment? To be yourself unapologetically. What are your hidden desires, your dreams, your passions? Okay, let's go to the cards. I got rambling there. Oh, I didn't look at the card. I tried to make that a thing. They remind me all the time, in the minute I start shuffling, it's too late. Okay, I'm going to have a sip. And we have the King of Cups as our underlying energy. So this is about the basics, okay? I guess what matters most, of course, is we have security. So ask yourselves things that, our parents asked us because we thought they were digging into their nose in our business and we weren't going to have any of that. And we weren't, but they would ask us, who are we hanging out with? Who are their parents? Where do they live? Do they treat you well? Do they respect you? How's work going? Do you enjoy what you do? Good hours? Good pay? You got enough money in the bank? You good? Eating well? Look at your life and just the balance of just your day in, day out routines. Are you eating standing over the kitchen sink? Or are you eating while you're watching, you're laying kind of down and, sit at the table. And even if it's by yourself, okay, have a chair there, talk to your spirit guide or an angel or something. I'm sure they'll take a seat if you ask them to. There's a ship coming in. There's abundance coming in. There's prosperity coming in. So we have to make sure that we are grounded. We have the basics covered so that we can feel that freedom, that sense of liberation in really going after our dreams and being authentically ourselves in the process. We have the devil. What are we tethered to? What holds us back? What stories are we attached to of our yesterdays? And how are they shaping our reactions to our todays? What is the baggage we carry? It's time to let it go. It's time to leave it in the rearview mirror. It's time to reinvent yourself. To start to get curious about what are the possibilities. So you have to understand where you need to release energy, even if it's just negative energy from another person. Okay, maybe they are too dependent on you or you're too dependent on them, and you need to sever that cord. You need to put in healthy boundaries. So that card is really about being the phoenix born from the ashes, letting go, letting our fears, our anxieties, the complexities that won't matter in 5 years. Anything that's not going to matter in 5 years, don't give it time, don't give it energy. Okay, just deal with it. Deal with it and move on because you're not going to remember it. You're probably not going to remember it tomorrow. And the things that are going to matter long term, like if the furnace breaks down, you might want to consider, making that a priority. But because somebody forgot to take the garbage out on garbage night, okay, well, I'm sure we'll all survive. So, picking our battles in order to win the war, right? But allowing the things that no longer matter, our habits, our behaviors, our fears, our anxieties, and break through that glass ceiling to become the phoenix rising out of the ashes. Four of Pentacles, what are you holding on to? What needs to be released? What do we need to let go of? Where do we need to trust ourselves into stepping into the unknown? What is going to make us very uncomfortable in taking that step, but we know it's a step that we should be taking? And to push our way through it, especially after following the devil card here. This is the time to push through the fear, to look it in the eye and walk through it anyways, to believe in yourself, who you are. We need to let it go. We can't move. We're tied to it. We're tethered to it. If we could move from it, if we just opened up our arms and let them fall to the ground and step away from them and turn around, we'd see this giant pentacle. And it's the gateway being actually tended by two angels to your path of prosperity, your abundance, your joy, your happiness, your fulfillment. And it's there just for you. You don't walk on that path, nobody gets the path. It's meant for you. It's calling to you. It whispers to you. It's a passion, it's a dream, it's a desire that you keep pushing down. Or a person like the person you want to be when you leave your house each morning. And we have the Four of Cups. So 2 4s after the Devil. Well, 4 plus 4 is a money card, so it's prosperity. But 4, and the number 4 is all about our foundation, and that was the King of Hearts, right? Our foundations, and strengthening our foundations, so we can stand with a sense of ease. Feeling that sense of liberation, that sense of freedom, that things aren't pulling us down, burdening us, not allowing us to go forward with the strength, with the energy that we want to pursue it in. The Four of Cups is more about appreciating the here and now, being more present in the here and now. Stop looking so much in the future, because when we constantly look in the future, we see at the things we don't have yet, which also can create a stress in our lives. So it starts with recognizing the beauty in your today. What do you have? What's beautiful around you? Where do you want to see growth? Where do you want to see change? Where do you want to see transformation in your today? What can you do today in this simple moment in time? It doesn't have to be big. Consistency is much better than a big, grand gesture. Sextiles aren't about big, grand gestures. It's about the simplest things. The smallest changes. Having that conversation that opens you up to a learning experience, wisdom, knowledge, an adventure, an opportunity, a relationship. A moment that starts out so ordinary. The day that starts out so ordinary is usually the day when that happened. When we're expecting that big, wonderful day, somehow there's a little bit of a deflated energy. Sometimes that is attached to that because we were looking so forward to it that we built it up too much in our minds. It's about being in, I think this card is really calling out to us. I know I talk about the gratitude and everything. Yes, and it is about being grateful, but it's about being grateful for the here and now and being more present in the here and now and making your decisions in the here and now for those small steps that you can take today that maybe nobody else notices, nobody else can see, and it doesn't matter because we don't need to impress anybody. We just need to measure ourselves up to ourselves and who we were yesterday, maybe, if we want to look into the past. Okay, let's go to our oracle cards. Be true to your heart, the 26. 26, 2 plus 6 is an 8. It's about prosperity and growing our prosperity. The 26 is about growing our empowerment. Stepping into our empowerment. Be true to your heart. Let your heart lead the way. I mean, this energy has been like that for some time now, where our heart gets to say, don't worry, I'll tell you when it starts to go into the analytical. Be true to your heart. In this moment, draw on the energies of harmony and union when making a choice. The current situation is best supported using intuition and not intellect. There may be difficult decisions that have to be made and are not necessarily about love. Consciously be aware of what interests you, what attracts your attention, what stirs your imagination and creates passion in your life. Do your best to ignore the persuasion of what others might think or say. Trust yourself and don't allow your opinion to be swayed. So yeah, they paraphrased me pretty good there. Just love that deck for that for many reasons. The artistry is amazing. The write-ups, the energy they attach to that card needs to be read. You know, sometimes you get the decks and you read it and you're like, well, first of all, I don't relate at all to that. You know, but it does attach you to the card. It's vibration, it's energy, and I think it's very important to honor the book, because it takes two or more to make that deck, one being the author and one being the illustrator, and usually bringing in their own energy. We have, look at this, the elephant is back. Go the extra mile. Well, the elephant took a brief reprieve, but is it here to stay again? I wonder. For a week there, I think we got it almost every day. Nurture, productive, communicate, listen. The purpose of life is not to be happy, but to matter, to be productive, to be useful, to have it make a difference, that you have lived it all. Elephant reminds you that when you feel like quitting, it just means that you have some extra steps to take. And many times people set goals and stop in the middle of them, frustrated. Elephant motivates you to keep going. It could be an exercise program, a new skill that you want to try, or a friend that you have been meaning to call. Elephant teaches us that being gentle, having commitment, clear communication can help in relationships. On the outside, Elephant looks like an intimidating creature, but she is actually a nurturer, wanting everybody to succeed and feel protected. Elephant is also a very telepathic and, with the sixth sense, can feel energy. With friends, family, even strangers, and she senses dangers, responds accordingly. Elephant reminds you that you are needed, and to get a good feel for it. The words may not be spoken, although elephants are large and heavy. They walk noiselessly and with much grace. Elephant gives you subtle hints that you are needed. So listen to the signals with all your senses. Of course you're needed. More than you give yourself credit for. I can say that with an absolute fact, regardless of who you are and what you do. We all do that as humans. We don't really see that we can actually step into the dream. And so we have to go on in belief. We have to step into our heart center, to feel our passions, our desires, and to allow curiosity to lead the way to our transformation. As we go forward, we're always transforming, whether or not we take a part in the dance. So this is a wonderful time to dance to perfection, to beauty, to your best life ever. Until we meet again, remember, I do love you.